Hi everybody, welcome to part 2 of Uncle George. After letting out a string of cuss words that I can't mention in this book, he picked up Daddy's little tricycle, stomped to the other end of the dock, and threw it straight into the river. They say that turnabout's fair play, and later Uncle George would find himself on the receiving end of a similar situation. You see, Uncle George had a room to himself right off the big living room, and he kept a loaded gun in there. And Grandpa told him, "George, I don't want you to keep that gun loaded in the house with all these kids around." And George said, "Well, the kids don't have any business being in my room." And Uncle George thought that was the end of that, but it wasn't. Not long after that conversation, my grandpa went to Uncle George's room to see if that gun was still loaded, and sure enough, it was. So Grandpa took that gun straight down to the dock and, you guessed it, he threw it right into the river. So Daddy's tricycle finally had some company there on the bottom of the old St. John's. But it wouldn't be fair to the memory of Uncle George to leave you with the feeling that he was all bad. He may have been grouchy and a bit crusty on the outside, but when all was said and done, he loved his family and they loved him. My Aunt Willie Mae recalled one day Aunt Hannah from Savannah and her family came by the big steamboat, the Osceola, to Bluffton. And we kids were on the dock fishing in 40-foot water. And a big catfish jerked Roy Lucas's line, and he fell into the water, and he couldn't swim. We were jumping up and down, worrying and screaming, and finally a cousin ran up the hill and told Mama that Roy was in the water. So Mama come running down, but Mama couldn't swim either. So Mama said, "Horace, get in the boat and save Roy." So Uncle Horace said, "Wait, I'll go get the rowboat and put it right near the dock." But Mama wasn't thinking straight, and she jumped in on top of Roy, and then they were both drowning. Uncle George, who happened to be up in the bed with pneumonia, heard all this commotion and came running down there in his BVDs and held on to the pile and reached and caught Roy. And then I said, "Catch Mama." She was just coming up, and he missed her about 6 inches, and down she went again. Her long black hair was all you could see, just swirling in the water. She was going down for the last time, and Uncle Horace got there with the boat, and he pulled Mama in by her hair. Mama wasn't that bad when they got her out, but they had to roll Roy on a barrel to get all the water out of him. Thank goodness Daddy's brothers were there, because Uncle George saved Roy and Uncle Horace saved Mama. And there's a couple more chapters about old Uncle George in here, and I'll be sharing them with you later. Thanks. Y'all have a good one, and thanks for stopping by.